Hey everyone, this is Amanda with Americana Gardens, and today I am giving you the full August garden tour. So I'm labeling this video the good, the bad, and the fried. And it's funny because I think everybody's garden, unless you have some type of drip irrigation going on, really suffered this year, right? Like most of Europe, and also in North America, we really suffered really intense heat and a dry summer. In fact, I was talking to somebody who worked in the local fire department, saying that the fire warden said that the ground is between 4 to 5 feet dry. That is intense. And then also, you know, they consider this because it goes into the factors of fires, wildland fires and whatnot. So anyway, it's been dry, and I'm just gonna show you the good, the bad, and the fried. So, and also I did not weed in like 2 months. Why? Because it's been boiling hot. So it is what it is, but there's some fabulous things that you should check out too. I do have some plants that did well, and I'll show you what that is then. Okay, so I'm at the very top of my driveway, and I'm just gonna walk through all the gardens in the yard here, and I'll show you what's good and what's not good and all that stuff. This is like the driveway, the back entrance to my house. And it is somewhat more shaded because we have some trees from the neighbors that we kind of borrow some shade from. But the azalea here did very good. And also this hydrangea, this is a quick fire. Now you see I don't water anything, so this is just what nature gives it. This is what it gets. Ooh, and there's a weed here. Ooh. Yeah, over here I have the azaleas too, and see, you know what, those buds in there, if you can see those buds, they're looking healthy. They're looking healthy and great, so that means they'll be blooming profusely. I wasn't so lucky with all of them. We also have these hydrangeas here. They got a little scorched, but these are doing okay. They're doing okay. So I did not hang, going down my driveway, I have these hooks here. I have 6 of them. I did not hang anything during the summer. And I'm really glad I didn't, because it was just so brutally hot. I don't come out and water these things, and they would have just died in like a week. But over on this side here, we have these vanilla hydrangeas on standards, vanilla strawberry hydrangeas on standard, and they did okay. They did okay. There's a little bit of scorch on them, as you can see here, but overall not too terrible. They are starting to turn a little bit of pink, and so, but overall, yesterday we actually had our first rain in like 2 months. And a first significant rain in like over 3 months, I would say, and it rained for about 2 to 3 hours. So it was periods of heavy rain and then periods of light rain, so it was a good mix, and we really needed it here. So hopefully there's some rain scheduled for next week. But what that did yesterday is that it broke the heat wave. Yes! So it's cooler now. Like today was 80 as a high and overcast, so it was really nice. And I'm excited for September. This is the last day of August, but I'm so excited for September because I want to get like rid of some of these weeds and you know, some of the pots that just didn't hold up well in the heat, mostly because I'm my lack of watering and just put stuff that's new and fresh and get ready for cooler temperatures. Fence line here with the hydrangeas. I have these roses that I got from Heirloom Roses. Now these are kind of spent, but they're actually like pretty. I mean, and you have the, you know, the light center, then halfway through it's darker purple and then a light purple on the outside. This is another bloom, well, spent, but you kind of get the color aspect of it. So I'm thinking about actually just digging those up and putting them elsewhere and getting yellow roses, yellow climbing roses, and put along this wired fence here, because the hydrangeas, they turn well, they're called strawberry vanilla, so they have a lot of pink in them when the temperatures start to get cooler, which is what's happening now. So I feel like it's just too much pink in this area, and I want some different types of colors. So I think I'm gonna go with a yellow climbing rose. I think that'll be really pretty. Winter structure in here. The hollies. I got some irises here. I really gotta clean these up. But yeah, see, this one gets a little bit more sun, so it's a little bit more scorched. But I might just be able to come in here and just do a few snips and pull off some of these yellow leaves and give it some new light. Oh yeah, blueberry bushes planted earlier this year. Not doing too good. Yep, not good at all. And here's an apple tree that I have been a little bit more diligent on watering. See, we got an apple there. Probably not gonna, I'm actually just probably gonna take this off. So there's 4 different types of apples for this. It's grafted. So I got a Cortland apple, a Winsap apple, a Wolf River apple, and a Brauburn apple. Should be interesting. Moved this gorgeous black lace elderberry. It was probably like 10 feet tall and I trimmed it all down. But next year, well, I transplanted it here, but next year it's gonna be gorgeous and it's gonna fill in this area, and then I'm gonna have these pink roses right in here on either side of it, so it'll be really pretty. And I also have these Scotch brooms, which I think they did rather well. I think they did well. They're very drought tolerant, and they get these really pretty, oh, I got a tag. Some Sister Disco Scotch broom. Yeah, these pretty yellow blooms. They almost look like small orchids, like throughout the whole stem of the plant. They're really pretty. Over here, I got my little bistro table. Underneath this, it's still a baby, but it is a curly willow, and I love it here. One, because it's gonna provide some nice shade in this area, but also this area gets really wet, and I want it to suck up a lot of that moisture. This year it hasn't been very wet, but future years, right? And also I've been loving the lights that Brighttown sent out to me. I have a video about that, and I'll put a link below and up above. But yeah, these Moroccan lights, they're so pretty. I got my hammock here. I just love to come out here in the morning, eat. It's very informal, and I really enjoy my time out here. And look at this glorious sedum. It's starting to turn, you guys. Oh, that's so pretty. The sedum is definitely a win. And also, I have a new garden pal. Anybody who knows me knows I love bunnies. Tom got me this one as a gift. so I could have a bunny friend out here. My real bunny is kept inside, safe and sound, but I would love to bring him out here and just like cuddle with him on my hammock and stuff. But I know he would hate that, but oh, so I miss him. Okay, and over here I have this ginger wine 9-bark. Now it did lose, this is a transplant. It did lose some of its leaves, you know, because it was stressed and replanted at the wrong time. But I love the dark foliage. That's really good for fall too. It also gets like a hint of red to it. But it's really pretty here, and it sets off what's down below. Like, it's a nice backdrop. The healthy bud on a rhododendron, and then we have some dried buds. So I'm gonna cut some of this back. Some of it did well. It's like half of it did okay, half of it did not. Can't win them all. But I am loving the arbor here that marks the entrance to the rose garden. Let's see here. Before we go down there, I just want to do my driveway real quick. Russian sage. This is a win right here. This area needs to be weeded. I planted some hollyhocks in here. This is what this plant is. And it really grew, but next year it's going to come up with blooms. But I have this really nice, this is a Japanese maple. Now there's like 200 different varieties of Japanese maples. I'm not sure which one this is in particular, but it's like more like vertical and taller. But I love how you have the dark coloring on the top, and then just right below it you have this green growth. Like, see that dark light? Very, very pretty. So that's another one. Just have some roses. So this is a old lilac bush. There was probably like 2 or 3 of them in here. As you can see, this branch is gonna go, this whole branch right here. It's old, it's just, I think it's just naturally dying. I tried to limb it up. As you can see, I took all the lower branches out, or the suckers, and was trying to just give it more life so it'll like do well up top and get like some nice heavy blooms up top. But I'm just gonna have to put other stuff in here. They're just not holding up to their age, and also the severe weather changes that we've been having. But I also got some more Scotch brooms there. That's more like a wild, more mature one. I also have my tractor down there. You'll see it better on the down below. And some more azaleas that will be that line the driveway here. Some lemon cypress bush. Now this azalea fried a little bit more, but I could cut that out, or maybe just put a new one in and replant this elsewhere. But I thought it was really nice to put some evergreens. That's what a Scotch broom is. It's an evergreen, and this lemon cypress in. And the azaleas, of course. But yeah, I'm definitely going to get rid of these lilacs and put something else, maybe like a crabapple tree. I have a crabapple tree I need to find a home for. I think that would be nice here. Ah, see, this is a more established ginger wine 9-bark. It's healthy and beautiful and weeping and gorgeous. So soon the one that's in my rose garden will look like this. Well, next year it will. And I also have these Rebeckias. These are a native Rebeckia to Pennsylvania. They're like the smaller ones that you typically see. They're so darling. And they do seed, and they'll spread everywhere, and it will be lovely. Yeah, Russian sage. Right here. More Russian sage. Oh, this is so lovely. It's actually a little bit darker in person than it is on the camera, but I'm actually going to dig this up and move it. It tends to, this is very rich soil here and it tends to want to flop. Alright, here we have a blue butterfly bush. It looks more purple in the camera. We have some straw flower right here. How lovely is that? That is so pretty. I'm going to come out here and cut some of these. There's new buds coming too. Lovely. So the alyssum ground cover here is doing fabulous, I think. Yeah, it did very well. I planted it in early spring and it really spread out, so it's a nice ground cover. And I have a Hydrangea Limelight here, but this is like the smaller scaled ones. It's definitely more on the limey side of the blooms right now, but when they get older they get a little bit whiter, and then it'll turn into like a mauve color for the fall. Some Gomphrenias here. These look super pink. They're definitely more purple in person, just to let you know, but I love Gomphrena. This is another great dried flower. So I'm gonna have to come out here and take some snips out of that. Okay, guys, so for these dried flowers, I really want to use them in a fairy garden. And you're probably thinking, like, it's getting so late to do fairy gardens, and you know, like, our first frost date is usually typically mid-August, so I have a month and a half left. It's not very long, but I went to an auction, or a flea market if you will, just this past weekend, and I found the most adorable like teapot type home sets, and I really want to create something with them, so I'll show you guys and you let me know what you think. Like, these are adorable. Yeah. Okay, anybody who knows me knows I'm a sucker for anything bunnies, right? I'm a sucker for bunnies. And look at this one holding the little hat. Oh, like top of roses. It's so precious. Then we also have this wheelbarrow filled with a bunch of different items. These are not bunnies, these are actually mice, but they're cute enough. And it just kind of goes with the cottage fairy theme. But these two right here are darling. These are actually from Lenox, these two. You see how they are teapots? So I guess they could hold something in there, but I don't know what it would typically be for. And then I also have this one right here. This is not from Lenox, but see how it's labeled the flower shop on top? And then they have the two bunnies there. And then there's like this little gated box and painted with flowers, and I think that's just darling. So I'm gonna create some fun stuff with that soon. Okay, so now I'm going to go on the other side of the driveway. This is where the veggie garden is. I have some pots planted up, there's some vegetables, and there is a future cold frame house that I will be doing a project on probably in the fall. Okay, so in this area you can see I have 3 evergreens, the 2 lemon cypress, and then I also have this blue cypress right here that I really hope forms into a wonderful tree. It really suffered earlier this year and I trimmed it back and it came out into this weird shape, but I'm glad it's rebounding. So as long as it's rebounding, I'll be happy that it's growing, because in the winter I'll appreciate it. We have these salvias back here. they have really held up. I don't think I've ever watered these, other than like when I first put them in the mid-spring, late spring. There were some cosmos in here, but they died. They just didn't withstand the heat, which is odd because they usually can. But over here, I just planted these zinnias. I just, had some leftover seeds and, put some yellow and purple zinnias seeds in there to see what will come about it. I'm happy with the result. They're just starting to get going. These are the variety that blooms within like 30 to 45 days. And this is the future cold frame. It's gonna be wonderful. I got it all planned out, but that's gonna be in a future video. Some dried out dill. Some more zinnias. Yeah, I love the yellow and the pink. They are a win. They did well. Got some tomatoes, basil. I love a caprese salad, and my mom always makes a caprese salad for me. So tomatoes and basil are a must in the garden. She's wonderful. Another zinnia pot. Oh. Okay. Also, these right here, these petunias, these are super petunias from Proven Winners. Okay, see the size on them? Except for this one. This one is not a super petunia. This one is not a super petunia. And this one is definitely not a super petunia. So, if you want petunias, go with the super petunias. I mean, these really didn't receive any fertilizing or anything like that. We did supplement some water to them because this is the Veggie Garden. But, yeah, they're a win. And also I like how it can drape over like this. That's so pretty. There's also some peppers back there. Ooh, I see a few of them that are nice and green. These were beans and they're pretty much just done with now. Oh, look at this. Isn't this just darling? Love it. Yeah, these were a win in pots. Zinnias in pots, they could handle the heat and the drought. Okay, so now we're going to go into the partial Shea garden. It used to be all shade. We had a huge maple. Meow. But it lost a huge branch like 2 years ago. So it's now, it was a full shade garden, now it's partial shade. So we're just doing the best that we can. Luckily we didn't lose a lot of plants and there was minimal damage done when that branch fell. It was massive. One thing that is going well in this garden here is I planted this plum tree this year. And it did not die. Because again, I planted it in early spring, and then I was expecting us to have like some rain and whatnot, and we really didn't, and I've only somewhat supplemented water. Yeah, this is the Dwarf Plum Santa Rosa plum tree, 8 by 10. So what I was trying to do in this area, because we lost this huge branch, look at that. I mean, this tree is like, 60 some feet tall. So we lost a lot of shade. So I was trying to bring some height into the area. Not quite as that maple tree, but just something. And also I feel like a garden should also produce food. Going down this path here, you can see these are some more lights that actually Bright Town sent out to me. These are really pretty. And these actually change colors at night, the light does, but it's very subtle and it's not obnoxious, which I like. It is peaceful. And it kind of adds to the fairy Shea garden, woodland type of vibe that I get from being in this particular garden here. Behind it we have some salvia, the purple that's blooming. Some sedum, starting to turn some color here. This is always extra dry back here because of the maple really blocks a lot of the rain. We have Oakleaf Hydrangea here. Now, these are the first to really bloom, one of the first to bloom. These are done, they're brown. But here you can see the amazing maroon, like vibrant red that it will get. The more sun it has, the leaves will turn more bright red the more sun it has. So something to keep in mind. It's very huge. I gotta dig up some of these extra suckers here. You see that? Like, this is an Oakleaf Hydrangea right here, but it's sending out, the original plant is sending out runners. Some pretty heuchera here. Another hosta here. I love the coloring to it. I mean, it has some burn to it, but it's the gradient of the different greens in there is, I feel it's very detailed. It almost has like a shimmer look to it. There's a mophead hydrangea that did not bloom this year. And this is a Limelight Hydrangea standard. It's going to be moved out of this area, but oh my gosh, it just dried up. This is the only Limelight Hydrangea that performed poorly, and that's probably because I moved it earlier this year and I really didn't supplement it with water. But some of the other hydrangeas are doing just like phenomenal. Yeah, a lot of this stuff back here needs to be cut back, like spent echinaceas and whatnot. This is an area that I'm working on. Obviously, I'm not planting anything in like the last 2 months because it's just been brutally hot and I would kill it if I planted anything. So all this here, like there's another hydrangea on standard. The sedum is doing wonderful. That is definitely a win. Everything in here is going to be moved around though. So I'm not terribly worried about it. This is a cis plum, keeping it in a bush form. This is really, really gorgeous in the springtime. It has the most delicate pink flowers, and you can see that it's getting more of its fall color. These are some rows of Sharon bushes that separate us from the neighbor here. Lots of buds still on it. These are the old-fashioned rows of Sharons, but it's really pretty when it's all in bloom. You have like this whole bank of blooms. This I call the Crescent Garden. You see how bad our grass is? Like, I mean, we had rain and it kind of helped, and this is actually more shady, but like this is just like, this is almost like a powder. It's just terribly dry. I have a bunch of junk windows right here. Why? Because I'm going to be making little miniature greenhouses who has orchids in. So I'm going to dress these up really nice, and yeah, I'm excited to do that project. But yeah, this area really needs to be cut down and weeded. Like, I have like spent lilies and spent irises. There is a burning bush that died, and that's okay because they were just deemed invasive in my area, so I could dig them up and let them go. I have this Virginia creeper vine crawling up the side of the house here. It's also in the front of the house. I don't think I mind it too much, but I'm just not sure if it's actually good for the structure, because I think these can be rather, they're definitely aggressive in the area. I just don't know if they are termed invasive or not. So here's some grass here. I have 4 of them. Also, I just did this project with the grass in the fountain slash sink. Now I have Firelight Hydrangeas right there. There is some new growth on it. But I mean, that is bad. Like, I think I'm actually just gonna take these up, these burning bushes, and put in Limelight Hydrangeas because they do rather well in the area. Also, here is another 9 bark. That's twigs, essentially. Did not handle the transplant well. I do have a few 9 barks that like there's one right there that did not do well this year. It just transplanted and it shocked, so. But one plant that does do well is actually this hyssop here. So hyssop is extremely drought tolerant. The pollinators love it. It is a blue color and it does fairly well here. So that is a win. Hyssop is a win. So I'm just gonna walk back up towards the back entrance to my house. We have a butterfly bush here. It's doing phenomenal. I recognize this from another video. This is right below the driveway here. And this could use another pruning. But I lifted up the canopy of this butterfly bush because the cats that hang around here, they just murdered these butterflies. Like, look, there's a remnants of one. Probably a monarch. And they ate it. They killed it. Oh yeah. Yeah, but the blooms are so pretty here. There is still more. That's a new bud right there. So I'll just do some cleanup. Strawberry hydrangea, strawberry vanilla hydrangea in here. I'm going to, this is another butterfly bush, but I think I'm going to move this one, put it on in the front of, like, at the bank, which is like super hot and dry and very, yeah, super hot and dry. And find something else in here to fill in this space because this wall is just Okay, so for animals, the Bidens. These yellow flowers right here, Bidens, easy to remember. And these blue salvias right here, phenomenal. They did phenomenal. This is a repeat. And these are great because, you know what, I put them in spring, they did well in summer, and they're gonna do well in fall, and they're fall colors, so get more bang for my buck. Yeah, here's like a whole drift of it. So pretty. Oh, and the glorious Limelight Hydrangea. This is one that did not skip a beat at all. Fabulous. Look at these blooms. It didn't, I mean, there's some like brown tinge to it. There's some brown tinge, but overall, I mean, it's very beautiful looking. Very happy with how that turned out. Yeah, and I even put like some hostas down there, and I'll put some more things down there too. And just for reference, up there is the driveway, and here's my tractor, and these are the lilac bushes that I'm going to eventually get rid of. This one right here is a strawberry vanilla hydrangea as well, and this did the best out of all the strawberry vanilla hydrangeas, and which is surprising because this is a full sunspot. Like, my rose garden is back there, So for this to handle that much sun, and it's on a hill, so like, you know, any water, it just drains away. This did well. I also have a viburnum here that's starting to turn its colors, and this one here gets blue and pink berries. So this is gonna be very pretty in like another month or so. And yes, I will be doing another garden tour then, and September will be a glorious garden tour, I guarantee it. Okay, so moving along. I just did a succulent planting. I'll link that video as well. Here's some of the succulents that I planted. This is also a barrel pond up here. Very happy with how the back middle one is has the water in it. Very happy with how that turned out. Next year, these two will also be a water pond. And I thought this, this is a Japanese maple, more traditional with like with the lacy leaves and whatnot. This is like what you would typically see in a Japanese garden, but it lost its leaves. It was in transplant shock. There's the sign of hope right there. Nice, healthy, swollen buds. You see that? So this tree is not lost. Thank God, because I would have cried. I also have some hyssop back here. Yeah, see, this is a really great drought tolerant plant. So I kind of got it all scattered through here. Okay, and here I have these wonderful Arborvities, nice and green. Got them on clearance probably 4 years ago, and for like literally less than $5. And I didn't pay for it. Somebody who I was seeing at the time did. But these two, they didn't make it. As you can see, there is a walnut tree. I think it's a sumac. Everybody's telling me it's walnut, but no, I'm like, no, this is a sumac. Anyway, it blocks a lot of rain if we get any. So these two have been really dry and they just didn't make it. So I'll have to dig them up and replace them. Actually a Firelight Hydrangea on standard. See, it's a tree form. And this did fairly well because it's more protected, and this has been in the ground for at least 3 years, if not longer. So this one did fairly well, and this is definitely a win. Let's move on down here to Noelle's little garden. This tree has put on some growth. This is a weeping cherry. So next year I'll be expanding this circle out more, and Noelle can have more space to plant. Back down here, this is a Sugar Time crabapple, and I put one right here, and I put one on the other side right here to kind of like, when they're more mature, to give more privacy here. But this one is doing good. Like it was struggling, but it bounced back. This one lost all its leaves. I mean, you can't even see it in the camera. You see that? It's just a stick. It's just a stick. So, let me see. We got some action up top, I think. Okay, well, there is some new growth on the very tippy top of these. So I think it may bounce back. Sorry for the noise down here. I live on a semi-busy street, so can't help it with the noise. So the last stop that I'm going to do in this tour is going to be through my rose garden, and the roses are starting to come out again. for their fall flush. So let's do that. I love how this arbor lights up. And I mean, look at this. Look at this hydrangea. It's stunning. It did not skip a beat at all. I trimmed up the canopy so I could put some stuff below later on, but yeah, this hydrangea did well. Very well. Also, I have some butterfly bushes that did well. You can see the pink growing. Some of the roses, the climbing roses here, put on some growth, which I'm very grateful for. And if you see this little contraption here, this is another crab apple. Let's see, it did struggle. I cut some branches off here, but I'm actually, the beauty with buying like small trees is that you could make them your own shape if you wanted to. Like, I'm putting branches together now. I should probably have something like a piece of cloth between the branch and this tine here, but I'm just making the branches the shape and also the direction that I want them to go in. Like, I have this one here, right here, connected all the way down, wrapped around the log here. This one branch was coming out into the walkway, which I obviously didn't want, so I'm training it from here, and I tied it back to the hydrangea, which has a much thicker trunk to it, so it will grow not in the path's way. But you know, these are some things that you can do. And now I just put these on maybe a month ago, probably more like 3 weeks ago. So, and this tree isn't like a fast grower, so I'm not concerned about the tine being wrapped around it so much. I wouldn't do this on a fast growing tree unless you want to like change it every week so it doesn't strangle any of the branches. Because it deserves some recognition because they've been in these pots and I barely ever watered them, and they've just been happy as can be, and they're such a pretty purple color. And I have it on this structure here that I got at a yard sale or Facebook Marketplace, and yeah, it's neat. The stuff you can find, right? There is another hydrangea over here doing very well. More of a butterfly bush. This is also some hyssop. Oh, one of the night lights just went on. So, I mean, like, the hyssop has just been bang, it's been going. I also have this hydrangea here that's been fabulous. And this is my, like, theme fence, I want to say. Like, this is more like summer themed, and now I'll be transferring it over into more fall. But this is the 9-bark right here. So you can imagine when that 9-bark is in full glory. It also blooms in the spring when all this stuff is dormant. But this, like, really will set everything off and add more of a contrast with colors. Okay, there we go. Yeah, there's a bud. Not too much roses going on, but they're budding up to do more. Like, I got some buds on this one right here too. So this one like blooms like a peony, and the scent to it is divine. Yeah, I will definitely be doing more of a rose garden tour when things are more poppin', but right now the hydrangeas are just doing great in this area, and I'm very happy for that, along with the butterfly bushes. Alright everyone, so I'm officially in my hammock. I went around the whole yard. The only area that I really didn't do is the front porch with the pots. I have some salvias, like the Bidens and the red salvias in there, and they're doing fairly well. Also Russian sage in there, and they're doing okay. But some of them are also fried too, so that area just gets like 16 hours of sun during the summer, I swear. It's like no mercy on it. And also the pots that are down below on the top of my retaining wall, I did not do. Why? Because they're not planted. I will be planting them up, so don't you worry. And I will make sure to bring that along with you guys. So now it's just time for me to relax on my hammock. It's nice, cool, the first cool day in a while. So I'm just gonna soak it in, and yeah, hope you enjoyed the tour. And please support the channel if you liked it, or if you made it this far, give it a thumbs up, let me know, and leave a comment, and I really appreciate it. Or and subscribe if you want to see more. I got greenhouses going on, I got cold frames going on, and I got rose gardens that are gonna come on. So there's plenty of stuff to keep busy around here, and I upload more than once a week. So anyway, enough with the rambling. See you guys later. Bye.